All right, I think we are ready to start, Irwin.
Ready to start.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll see if anybody else joins us today, but thank you everybody for being here. I'm Irwin Dolobowsky. I'm your treasurer here at Salt House. Woo! This is my fourth month on the job now, and I'm excited to bring you our financial update. We'll do this every quarter. You hopefully have seen Greg do this in the past, probably for the past 6 years or so, if you've been here a while. And he is, I'm sure, very happy not to be doing it today. But I'm happy to be doing it today. It's my first one, so bear with us and we'll get through it. So hopefully you find this interesting. So I've got a few general updates about our bookkeeping and accounting, and then we'll go through numbers. If there's questions, please ask. I will try and answer them, and if I can't, I'm happy to follow up with you. You can get in touch with me at treasurer@salthousechurch.org. I'm easy to find. So I just want to say a couple updates. As mentioned in the main service, we have a new bookkeeper and a bookkeeping service, which is awesome. Laura's been working with us for about 3 weeks now and been cleaning some things up. She's found some ways for us to save some money, improve our operations a bit, while still maintaining everything that we need to. So we're super excited to have her here. And I want to give another thank you to Shari, our church administrator. This is her second month on the job, and she's done a ton to help Laura get up to speed as well. And so thank you to them both, as well as thanks to the financial committee, which is Greg and Dale and Scott. It's been an interesting time as I jumped in, and then we had to hire a bookkeeper and redo some things, and they were incredibly supportive, answered a ton of questions for me as I get ramped up, and so I want to make sure to thank them since they've all been helping manage our finances for, again, a very long time. If anybody else is interested in helping with that, if this is your thing, please get in touch. We could always have some more financial committee members. Let me know. The last thing I want to say is, we're going to go over the numbers and the budget. This is our budget. One of the first things we did as a council was read the Constitution, and the thing that stood out to me was everything we do is for the congregation, not the church, the organization, but the people here. And so this is the budget that we all set if you're a voting member. It's where your money goes. And so this is really our budget, and we are responsible for it. We increased our budget this year. It was about a 30% increase. We as a congregation like to say yes to things, yes to all of our programs, yes to having another pastor here. And so all of the budget was us saying yes to a lot, and we want to make sure we can support that. So, all right. So let's talk about income, and the slides are up, and hopefully everybody on Teams can see it as well. General giving this year, for Q1, we are about 76% of where we want to be in terms of our budget. That includes a very generous gift in August, and thank you to the folks that contributed that. We appreciate it. But we're about 76% of what our target was. And if you actually look, the month-to-month giving amounts are actually consistent with average amounts through last year, through our previous financial year. And so the overall giving amount has remained fairly steady, but again, the budget went up, so that's where that gap came from. Our other sources of income, interest from our accounts, from our grants, those are coming along as expected. You can see those numbers are right around 100%, as well as the church building use and the parsonage. I will say we did redo a bunch of leases this year. Our rent went up, so some of our budget is being made up for increase in rent. I think it's still a pretty good deal for those churches, but more in line with other rentals around the area, and so that's contributing more to our income. So, but the big thing is the general giving. Now, this is not to say let's panic. We know that, especially here at the church, there is a lot of seasonality to giving. A lot of people give around the holidays, and so we'll just keep watching it and see how it goes. But that's just where we're at now. So, any questions about the income? All right, next slide, please. There we go. Restricted income. For those who may not be aware, we have some restricted funds. Money in these funds goes to very specific purposes and can only be used for those purposes. A small percentage, 1% of our overall general giving goes into these funds, but some people also choose to donate directly to them if they want their donations to go to a specific purpose.
Just 1% goes into reparations and queer initiatives.
Yes, sorry, thank you. Reparations and queer initiatives. Yeah. And so if you're interested in donating to these, if you have specific purposes for your funds, you can designate them. Again, the giving here is a little Yeah, it's on the screens. This is what we have. Yeah, any questions about those? I think it's pretty straightforward. Just wanted to make a note about we do have those restricted funds for specific purposes. All right. So expenses, this is where what are we paying for? Where is that money going? These are kind of the high-level categories that we have. So first is payroll. This is how we pay our staff, and we like paying them, so they hang around. We've got a little bit of savings there. If you recall, back for this year, we were splitting the previous church manager's role in two. We hired Shari for one of those roles. The second one, instead of filling it with a full-time person, we hired the bookkeeping service instead, which will be a big savings, and so that's where the savings here comes from, is we haven't had a second person on staff as we had originally planned. This will be made up, as we called Pastor Ryan when we discussed that. We wanted to make sure both pastors had the same benefits, so we increased some budget, particularly around that position. So there's been some savings, but I expect that that's going to cover the increase for Pastor Ryan and making sure the benefits are even for everybody and can support them and their families. Benevolence tracks directly to main giving, so that's why that number is the same as our giving number as compared to budget. So it's also at 76% of what we're paying out because that's directly related to what our giving is. Office is right on track. Building and grounds is anything to do with our building. The big one here is we installed some new security systems and cameras. The bill for that came in, I think, a week ago, so it was in October, which is technically Q2. So while there's a nice big savings here in Q1, that bill is coming due pretty much, that'll be on the next update. It'll be in this month. So there is a big savings here, but it's not going to last very long. And then the ministry programs were down a little bit. I think there were a few items in here where, again, the budget counts them through the year, but they're only paid at certain times, so I'd expect that to be paid later. So as a result, compared to the budget, we were about 30,000 under. Our giving, I think, was similar, so we'll see. I think the next slide, please.
And the bill we have is for 30,000.
Yeah, and the bill we have is for 30,000, so that, again, that evens that up. So when you look at the actual numbers for Q1, it's pretty good. We're only off about 800, but again, we've got that big bill coming in for buildings and grounds and those other things that will come in later. So overall, the Q1 numbers may look good because, hey, we're pretty close, but we do know we have those other things coming in. Any questions about the expenses or those items? All right. Jason, I assume there's no questions online?
I don't think
so. All right, cool. Yeah.
Sorry.
All right.
No, people, I just want to give people online a chance to type.
Yep. If anything comes up, please let me know. The last thing is our assets and liabilities. These are our other things. These are our banking accounts, as well as our fixed assets, like the building we're sitting in, the playground, all that. Most of our fixed assets have remained fairly steady. I think the numbers changed very slightly from previous quarter to this quarter. All of our accounts are still looking good and healthy from where they were at last quarter. So no major changes there. And then liabilities is money we owe. We have not done our benevolence payment yet, so that's sitting there. And then the security deposit on the parsonage is always on there until we give it back. So, but overall, the assets and liability numbers overall have remained steady. Ideally, we like to keep our checking and savings accounts steady month to month. Have a nice healthy backup there in case we ever need it. So those numbers are looking good. And I think that's the last of the numbers. So I know that's kind of quick, but I wanted to keep it hopefully fairly straightforward for everybody. I know everybody's excited with financial updates, so woohoo! All right, I'm gonna check my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, that's that. So we remind everybody every week, but I also want to say again, if you're able to give, please, we would appreciate it. Again, we like to say yes to many things here, and we need to support those programs that we want to continue to run. A couple of reminders specifically for recurring givings. We love recurring gifts. It helps us plan easier every month. Having that income is nicer than the spikes. Again, if you're able to. If you have been doing a recurring gift, thank you very much, first of all. Second, please review two things for me. Previous years, we had our Leap of Heart campaign. Some people are still giving towards that campaign. It is over. It's not a big deal. Your money's been going into the general giving, so thank you, but it requires us to do some manual updates on the back end. So if you review your manual giving, just please flip it over to general giving, and we will try and reach out directly to the people who are still doing that. And also, if you haven't reviewed it in a while, again, our budget increased by 30%. We all said we want to do more. please take a chance. If you haven't reviewed your giving since then, if you're able to adjust it up, we would very much appreciate it. So,
I'm going to say a quick little thing about that.
yeah. And then I want to say for all of this, I'll give it over to Jason in a second. He put all of the information on how to adjust things. I think it'll be in the slides and then on the piece of paper that everybody got in their handout today. So,
if you're looking for ways to access your giving profile, we do it all in Planning Center. It's available on our giving page.
Yep.
And there's printable instructions as well as a video that will walk you through all of the things you need to know about how to access that. And of course, if you ever have any questions, you can just email Sherry, and she and I will help you negotiate that well. It's one of those things where, like, we can't change your giving for you.
yeah, we can't do it for you. That
Like,
would make some
largely-
things easier, some things really bad.
Yeah, that would be really nice. But it's one of those things where you have to do it on your own, and we're here to help you do that. So,
Yep. And then again, I'm treasurer at Salthouse.org. If you have any questions for me about budget spending, I'm also happy to answer those questions. I'm usually pretty good about getting back to folks. So, any last questions before we go? All right. Well, I appreciate everybody being here. The folks who dialed in online, thank you very much. This is important stuff. I know it's not the most exciting things. It's easy to vote for budget and then forget and just say, hey, all right, it's happening. But again, this is our money. This is how we are spending it together. And so I appreciate everybody who takes an active interest in that. So one more wave. All right, we'll leave this up. If anybody else wants to come up and do a wave, we can get, All right, thank you all. Thank you online.